Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and all folks in between, and welcome to Aunt Millicent's cooking show. Hello, and welcome back to the show. Today's show is a special, it's not exactly a request, but it's an idea brought to me by one of my friends online who posted to the cooking show. Her name is Kristen Smith, and her handle is Kristen Silky, and she's a big Smokey and the Bandit fan. Now, for all of y'all who are way younger than me, who don't even know what Smokey and the Bandit is, it was a movie back in the 70s. It stars Sally Field and Burt Reynolds, Jackie Gleason and Jerry Reed. And it was about this, well, you just have to watch it. But the other famous character in it is a black Trans Am that everybody fell in love with, and everybody wanted to drive it. But it's a funny movie. In my generation, it was a kind of a growing up point. I remember that was kind of my first rated R movie. And I went with my parents to see it, and I was so excited that I got to see an adult movie. There really wasn't anything bad in it except for the language. But I remember at the time it was hysterical, and I recommend you watch it. So the show today, is something from the show, and it's a fictitious sandwich that actually has a recipe that people didn't even know really what it was. They made it up. Okay, so I went online and found some recipes. So here's the scene. Hopefully I'll be able to show it quickly and without any penalties on YouTube, okay? So in honor of that scene, today on the show, I'm going to make what's called a Diablo Sandwich. And of course, you have to serve it with a Dr. Pepper, so make sure you have some handy. So in honor of the show, and of Kristen, I want to make this on the show. So the Diablo Sandwich, since nobody knew exactly what it was it's really kind of a sloppy Joe. It can have some pulled pork, or it could have beef in it. At least that's what it looks like on the screen. But a lot of people have just made their own versions. So guess what? If you make something different than me, it's perfectly okay. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to apron up and let's get started. Okay, y'all, for my Diablo sandwich, we have a lot of ingredients, but the good news is most of these are going to go into one big pan, and you don't have to do a whole lot of transfer, okay? So the first thing I've got is a pound of ground beef. That's essential. You could probably also use pulled pork if you want to get that from the store, but that's just what my recipe says, and that's what I'm going to use, okay? It also says that we need 1 sweet onion. I'm going to put half of it in there because I have half the beef here, so about half of a chopped onion, okay? Next thing that's going to be on there are jalapenos. I have so many things here, I have to look through them. I just bought some from the store. You can get an actual jalapeno because you're going to cook it anyway. But just putting these in here, just a couple of them, maybe enough to equal 1 pepper will be plenty. Okay, and if you like lots of jalapenos, hey, go for it. Okay, I don't want to be around you later, but that's cool. Okay, next thing you're going to need is some garlic. You can get the canned or the fresh, whichever one you want. You only need a little bit of your of cloves, not the whole clove, just the chopped garlic. Okay. Next thing we're going to need is some ketchup. You really need about a half of a cup, and you can get it whatever flavor you like. It's all cool. We're going to kind of make a little barbecue sauce out of the ketchup. Okay. The next thing you're going to need is some cider vinegar, and you only need a little bit of that. That's going to be about a half of a teaspoon or tablespoon. Okay. Then the next thing we're going to need is some Worcestershire sauce, or however you say that. You can probably pronounce it differently than me, but anyway, we call it that sauce, with the W on it. Anyway, you're probably only need a couple of drops of that, maybe about half of a tablespoon. Okay. Then you're going to need some brown sugar. Our sugar is in the bug-proof containers, and you're going to need. I'm estimating you're going to need about 3 tablespoons of that. Okay. And finally, you're going to need some paprika. Is that paprika? Yes, it is. And cayenne pepper. Those are your spices, and not a whole lot of that. Maybe more like half of a teaspoon. And then you're going to have to get yourself some liquid smoke. You can find this in near the barbecue aisle or barbecue sauce aisle, near the ketchup and everything, and it adds a little nice barbecue flavor to whatever you're cooking. Okay. And then the very last thing is just salt and pepper. Okay. And you can do that to taste. So whatever you feel like putting in there, it's perfectly fine. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to start chopping some items. Let's chop the onion. And that's really all we have to do for prep. Everything else is going to go in the skillet. Okay. And we're going to do that obviously on the stovetop. Okay. So let's go. Okay, y'all, the only thing I said you need to prepare in advance is a chopped onion. So I'm going to do that. You've probably seen me chop onions before, so here we go. Okay, guys, I'm over at the stovetop, and I've pre-greased my oven, or my pan, I'm sorry, and I put in my jalapenos and my onions. I want to cook those down a bit and get them nice and cooked and transparent for the onions. And then I want to put in my ground beef, okay? And that's where we're going to start. Okay, y'all, my onion is nice and brown, and it's time to add the ground beef. So I'm just going to chunk it as we go. And you're going to cook up this ground beef with your pepper and onion mixture, okay? There we go. So I'm going to let that cook and get it good and brown, okay? Okay, y'all, it looks done to me. It's nice and brown. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our half a cup of ketchup. You might need a little more than that. We'll check it here in a minute, okay? That's the first thing. And we're going to add a half tablespoon of vinegar. This is going to be our cider vinegar. I'm just going to add it just like this. Bloop. We need a half teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. You know the one I'm talking about. I'll go for a full teaspoon. Okay. And then we're going to need 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. Okay. So it's probably not good to put that. I think I got the wrong one. Here we go. Tablespoons. I'm going to go 1, 2, and that's probably a half. There we go for 3. Okay, and that's that. Then I'm going to add some of this liquid smoke. I'm going to add a little bit less than half of a teaspoon. That'll give it, I'll give it a nice little barbecue flavor. Maybe a little bit more than that. Who doesn't like barbecue? Okay. And we need our garlic, which I haven't added yet either. I'm going to add a teaspoon of that. And pretty much everything just goes in the pot, right? Okay. And we also have to deal with, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to spoon this out. I'm just going to shake in some pepper, and it's about a quarter actually of a teaspoon. This stuff's pretty hot, so you got to watch it. And then for your paprika, add about the same, okay? Okay, y'all, the one thing I did forget was just hot sauce, Tabasco sauce. And you can add that as much as you like. I'm just going to add a few drops. Okay. And that's it. So then we stir this giant pile of stuff. I may need to add a little more ketchup. You can just kind of use your own judgment. Although, I don't know. I think it looks pretty good. There you go. Okay. And it ends up kind of looking like Sloppy Joe. Obviously with some additions to it. Okay. Let me stir this up and I'll close her out. Okay, y'all. Everything looks good and hot. And it's nice and cooked through. It looks really good. So what I'm going to do is I want to go get me a Dr. Pepper and put this on a bun. And I'll meet you all in the dining room. Okay? Okay, y'all, we made it to the dining room. And I have with me the Diablo Sandwich on a bun. Yes. And guess what? I have served myself a Dr. Pepper. So without further ado, let's try this thing, shall we? Here we go. It's got a little kick. And I took it really easy on the spicy stuff because, I mean, I love spicy things, but they don't like me very much. So what I recommend you do is if you make it and it's not hot enough, crank it up. You won't regret it. Oh goodness, that has a kickback. Sorry. Gosh, I'm going to have to say bon appetit quickly here. So happy, healthy, bon appetit. I enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me again. Ooh, gosh. Oh, okay, that was just a little, y'all. Okay. Bye-bye. Uh-oh, y'all. I think my ride's here.